If you're in your 50s, 60s, or 70s and think it's too late to retire comfortably, I want to stop you right there. That's a myth. You're not too late. You just need the right plan, the right strategy. Too many of us have been told we should have started saving in our 20s. That could be true, but that's not the whole truth. I know I didn't start saving in my 20s. I wished I did. Anyway, here's the deal. What matters now is what we do next. Hi, my name is James, and I've been a financial advisor for over 25 years. I'm in the retirement trenches every day, so I see what's going on out here. Real people, real bills, real responsibilities. And here's what I know. Even if you're 55, 65, or 70, you can build real momentum with the right plan. Most people waste more time worrying than acting. You're not too late unless you never start. Here are 3 non-negotiable steps you need to take right now to jumpstart your retirement prep. Let's head on over to the whiteboard. There are three non-negotiable steps you need to take to jumpstart your retirement prep. 3 things, very important to know these 3 things. And it is to know your numbers. So number 1 is to know your numbers. Now, when we say know your numbers, a lot of people think when they're retirement, they need to know, they want to know if it's a lump sum. Say it's $1 million. Hey, do I need $1 million before I retire? Do I need $500,000 before I retire? $250,000? We think in terms, a lot of people, retirees, think in terms of lump sum numbers. What we need to think more of is you want to think more of monthly income. It's good to have a lump sum, absolutely, but income is very important. So we're going to touch on those 3 things. Sorry, excuse me. So we're going to touch on 3 things here to know your numbers. And to know your numbers is actually 3 different numbers. The first one here is your lifestyle costs. Lifestyle costs. You have to know what that number is. And basically that number is, and what we're trying to say when I say lifestyle costs, that means what is your fixed expenses? What's your expenses coming in? So is this your electric bill, water bill, your mortgage, car note? Okay, basically you want to know what those numbers are. Those are your monthly expenses. That's all that is. That's monthly expenses. And write these down. Now, when you write these down, you'll be able to see it. It's realistic numbers. There's no guessing. So know what your monthly expenses are. What's your monthly lifestyle? What is your expenses every month? Just jot them down, like a budget almost, but you really want to jot down your expenses and know exactly how much is going out the door each month. Now, the second number that you need to know is your guaranteed money. Well, I should say guaranteed. Sorry for the board shaking. This thing is very loose. So this is your guaranteed income. Could you guess what guaranteed income is? Yes, Social Security is one of them, right? Social Security. Number 2 could be a pension. Hopefully you're still getting a pension. A lot of people aren't getting pensions these days. A lot of companies are putting the responsibility on the employee, the worker now, where you have to have your own 401k or 403b or your 457. But if you have a pension in addition to Social Security, that's very good, but that's guaranteed income. So that's the second number. Number 1 is expenses, your monthly expenses, what's going out. Your second number is your guaranteed income, what's coming in. So it's basically number 2 minus number 1, okay? So again, guaranteed income is very important. If you can get these 2 things, that's great. If you can get the third one, like the third leg of your retirement stool that we talk about a lot is your personal savings or your 401k or other types of retirement income, but that's guaranteed. And number three is the gap between number one and number two. Okay, what's that gap? That's what number three is. So we have to see what that gap is, and we have to fulfill that gap. And again, that gap may come from the third leg of stool, where again you have your Social Security on one, your pension number two, and the third leg is normally your personal savings or a 401k or 403b, one of these other retirement accounts. That's money stash. That money has to take care of the second part of this gap. And that's what we're going to talk about next. Let's take a look at an example. Okay, now here's an example. I hope you can see that. I hope I'm not blocking that number. Now, here's an example. This is what we need monthly. Let's say your monthly, what you need each month to live off comfortably is $5,000 per month. Okay, you need $5,000 a month to live comfortably. That's exactly how much money that you want each month to live off comfortably. It may increase over time, but for right now, you're comfortable with $5,000. Now, let's say your income, your Social Security and pension coming in is only $3,500 a month. Okay? So expenses is $5,000, but you only coming in, the expenses each month is $5,000, but your income, the money that's actually coming in from your Social Security and or pension is only $3,500. So that difference is your gap. What is that, $500, $1,500? That's the gap. So $1,500 is the gap. That's what we got to try to find other monies to make up for that, because you're comfortable with $5,000, but you're only bringing in $3,500. So money's in your personal savings, the three-legged stool mentioned before. That's Social Security, pension, and savings. So from these three legs, if you have three, most people just have two. Some people just have one. But this and this is your money that's coming in. So hopefully you have some savings so we can convert those savings into income to generate this $1,500. All right, that's the gap. So we got to try to make up that gap with your personal savings or a 401k or another brokerage account, something like that. But very important, know your numbers. And there are three numbers that you should know realistically to really jumpstart your retirement prep. Let's move on to number two. So now our second non-negotiable step that you need to take right now to jumpstart your retirement prep. And the second step is to know what compound interest is. Now, compound interest is very powerful, even those who still have 10 to 15 years left for retirement. Compound interest is so powerful because what it does is this. It takes the principal that generates cash, and it also generates interest. And interest generates cash. Okay? So that is so powerful. Compound interest is what Albert Einstein kind of coined it. He said there's 7 wonders of the world, but the 8th wonder of the world is compound interest. And he is so right. It is a very, very powerful strategy that can really accumulate monies fast. Now let's take a look at an example of compound interest. And again, there are two major things that compound interest does when you really have these two things going for yourself. It is time and consistency. Okay, so if you have time and you let it do what it has to do, that's great. And you're consistent every single month, that is great. That's what compound interest can do. Now let's look at an example. Let's say you're still working and you have a 401k or 403b. You don't have a pension. You have to actually contribute to yourself. You have to contribute yourself. The company doesn't have a retirement plan. Let's say you're generating or you contributed to a 401k and you contributed $500 per month. Okay, that's per month. And you're going to do that for 15 years. All right, $500 a month for 15 years. And you're going to get a 7% return over that whole span of 15 years. You know what that will equal? About 161,000. All right, so from these numbers, that'll total about $161,000 after 15 years. 90% of that is your contributions. All right, so 90,000 is really your $500 every month for 15 years. That's your contribution. The interest on that is about 70,000. So you see how powerful that is? That's your contribution. If you just put that away for 15 years, $500, you just have 90,000. If you did that for a bank, if you just set that in a bank account, that's exactly what you're going to get. Because they really don't give you that much interest. You may get 1%. But here we're looking at 7% overall in 15 years. 70,000 is interest. That's compounded. So that's the beauty of compound interest. So this is very, very important to have an account set up this way, or a retirement account at your job. If they don't have one, you have to get your own. Again, that could be an individual IRA account. It could be a Roth IRA account, a regular brokerage account. And a lot of these companies give, you can open accounts with a lot of these companies out here. But we're talking about that on the third number. We would talk about that in the third level. But compound interest here proves that you just have to have time in the market. So if you have 5, 10, 15 years and you contribute consistently, you should do well. You should have that lump sum. Remember the gap we just talked about? That money could go into that. So we convert that money eventually into income. So we can convert this to monthly income to hopefully generate that $1,500 we talked about prior, about knowing your numbers. Okay, I hope you guys are getting this. I hope you're getting it, okay? So let's go on to number 3. Okay, we're on to step number 3. Step number 3 is open an IRA account. Now, if you don't have a retirement account at work, like a 401k or 403b or 457, you have to open up your own IRA account. And the best way to do that is through a brokerage firm. And the reason why you want to do this because you want to make sure that you have enough money in retirement. All right. Again, that's why we have step number 3, where the 3 steps. If you don't have a pension or 401k, you just can't rely on Social Security. So it's very important to have either a pension and or an IRA account. So again, you want to open a traditional IRA account, or I should say you should open either a traditional IRA account or a Roth IRA account. Now, there are 2 different types of accounts, and we won't be touching on that today, but in future videos, we're definitely going to show you the difference between a traditional IRA account and a Roth IRA account, why you should or should not open either one, or why you should open a traditional versus a Roth. Or you can open both. It doesn't matter. But having these accounts open is very important, especially, again, if you don't have a retirement plan at work. Now, there are great platforms out there to open an account. I don't really want you to open an account at a bank or a credit union because you don't have access to a lot of the different products out there or different stocks or CDs or things like that. With the traditional IRA account at these brokerage firms that I'm going to put down, these platforms, you're going to be able to open all types of accounts for stocks, mutual funds, gold, real estate. So here are the platforms to possibly look at. Here's some of the platforms. You can open an account at Fidelity. You could do one at Charles Schwab. or Vanguard. Now, these are well-known brokerage firms. And again, they're very easy to set up as well, too. You can do these online. And you can open up these accounts within minutes online. They're really quick, really fast, and very easy to open. You can do paper. You can use paper as well, but this is much quicker. So when you're doing this online or on paper, they're just going to ask you for your name, address, date of birth, social security numbers, things like that to make sure you are who you are. So that is very important to open this. A lot of people miss this part because they don't have these accounts open. You can't buy stocks or mutual funds or gold or things like that without these type of accounts. So very important. Again, I prefer one of these platforms than a traditional bank or a credit union. Okay? Very, very important. And what you could do with these accounts is you just want to contribute to them. It's not really how much you put in. If you put a small amount in for a long period of time, that's good. But what's very important is the habit of putting money into it. So you can have this money automatically taken out of your checking account, going directly into these brokerage accounts, these IRA accounts every month. So that could be $100 a month. You could do $250, $400 if you want, or you can start at low as $50 a month. All right? And by the way, there's no charge to open these accounts. You can open these accounts with no money down. Just open them. Very, very important. That's the first step. And then start contributing whatever you can afford every month into these accounts. And again, on future videos, we're going to talk about where to put these monies, where to invest, which ones you should invest in, things like that, okay? So very, very important. So I wish you definitely tune in for those videos. So again, these are like a system. So that's an automatic system we set up. We call it automatic. That's automatic contributions every single month. Okay, very, very important. And again, it's not too late for you, even if you're in your 50s, 60s, or 70s. It's not too late to start doing these things. And that's why we have this video, because you can start today. The most important thing to do is today. And again, you can open these accounts right away. So hopefully you do that. Make me happy. Make you happy as well. Okay, so a quick recap. Number one thing is to know your numbers. There are 3 different numbers you need to know. Your income, expenses, and a gap between those 2 numbers. And number 2 was using the power of compound interest. And compound interest has a lot to do with number 3 when you open these accounts, because you want this money to compound over time. So the example we did with the number 2, step number 2, that's exactly what this is. So you contribute every month, and we put these in different investments so it can grow. And over time, it grows. So again, if you have 5, 10, 15, 20 years, the longer you have, the better it is. But if you have only 5 years or 10 years, you may have to put more money into it so you could have a comfortable amount of money in retirement. So you may want to the older you get, the more money you have to put into it, because you have to kind of what we call catch up. So think about that as well. So this is very important. So and number 3 again step number 3 was open an IRA account. Know your numbers, compound interest, and open an IRA account. And we're going to get more into other things, more strategies as we go forward. In the next video, I'm going to show you what I would do today if I was 55 years old with no retirement plan. Oh, by the way, you don't want to miss that one. I hope I see you there. Take good care.